Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about, is medical coding a money pit? If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay guys, so is medical coding a money pit? There's a lot of expenses that are associated with this field, okay? And some of the things that people are spending their money on are absolutely unnecessary. But there's a lot of people out there that are just selling products. And they're telling people, you know, if you buy this product, if you do this, it's going to make this easy and blah, blah, blah. But all really learning medical coding takes is hard work. It takes dedication, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes you focusing on the books. No amount of money that you spend on additional things that you do not need, which I will talk about in this video, especially if you're in your first 2 years, a lot of these things that you just absolutely do not need, okay? And the thing about it is, the only way you're going to learn medical coding is to actually practice, actually study. And before any of you says, well, I can't get a job, how can I? Okay, but you still have your books with you. And I've done so many videos where I talk about what to do if you haven't been able to get a job, if it's been a while since you've been out of school and got your certification, you know, what you should do. Because I guarantee you, there's probably something wrong with your resume, probably something wrong with your approach when you're applying, or you're not passing the assessment tests. Those all factor into why you're not getting hired. And if you're only applying for jobs that say entry level, or you're only applying for jobs that are remote, you know, that has a lot to do with it too. And especially if you think you're just going to stroll right on in and get your remote coding job because that's what they sold you at the school, well, you have another thing coming, because there's a lot of things that have happened since the pandemic and until now. And when it was a pandemic, there was a lot of people that if you did not have experience, you were not getting hired remotely. And it's really kind of going back to that. In some places, they still do a lot of remote, but in a lot of places, they want you to go back. And so you can't sit here and say, well, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, and then in the same breath complain because you're not getting a job. You have to be able to get your foot in the door somewhere, okay? And like I said, I've talked about this so many times, I don't want to go over this again. But the thing that you ought to know is you are in control of how much money you are spending up to a certain point, right? So if you are with AAPC, right, and you have your $222 membership dues that are due every single year, you know that is an expense you have to have. Okay, that is an absolute expense that you have to have. Now, if you have one certification, you should be able to find enough or have enough CEUs that they offer, because they do offer CEUs with their package. I think it's 18, but I'm not sure, because it's like you have to add this one and add this one and do this and do that. And so there's a lot that are covered in the membership fee anyway. And then of course you can find free ones. So we know right off the bat, you have $222 that you have to spend every year. Then, if you are getting more than one certification, okay, now you've just added on a bunch of other debt to your yearly, what you got to spend in order to be able to maintain the certification, right? Because you only get so many free CEUs with your AAPC membership. And then if you're insisting on getting additional credentials that you do not need, because all you need is one certification. That is all you need. And before any of you says, well, I wanted to get into risk adjustment, so I got the CRC. Well, guess what? They also say in the job listings when they're hiring for CRCs or risk adjustment coders, they're also saying that they will accept CCS, CCA, CCSP, or CPC. So I don't want to hear that. There's no excuse to get an additional credential when you've already been tested on your CPC exam, for example, on diagnosis coding. And so that's the thing. If you're having to add on, okay, now we've added on additional CEUs that we need to get. So we've exhausted all of the free ones that we can get through our membership. Now we have to go and find more. Okay, now what if we have a specialty certification? Right? Because some of you out there, you think getting the CPMA is what's going to get you in the door, and you still have a CPCA. And this is so wrong, and it is so false, because the CPMA that should not be for somebody that's just brand new into the field. It should not. You should have experience to be able to have that credential, but it's not a requirement. So that's just what I'm going to say there. Again, we're spending money that we don't need to be spending in the first 2 years. Because if you get that CPMA, now you have to have specialty CEUs or continuing education units in order to maintain it. A lot of you didn't know that. So these vendors can charge whatever it is that they want to. Okay? They can charge whatever it is that they want to, but it has to be these specific vendors in order to be able to maintain that credential. So you've added on additional need for more credentials, because as you get more credentials, your CEU requirement goes up. And the more that it goes up, the more you have to put out, money-wise, whether you have a job or not. This is why I keep telling y'all, only have one certification. And I'll still get people that say, oh, should I get the COC? Why would you get the COC when you already have the CPC? And the COC is still outpatient, certified outpatient coder. Well, what do you think the CPC is? Outpatient. The only difference is the COC is adding on a few more billing questions to their exam, which you're already tested on billing too, again, with the CPC. So I'm just trying to look out for you guys, because it does get expensive, but some of you are spending money unnecessarily. And you can have a fully successful career to start in the first 2 years with just one certification. And that will simplify your life, because you're having to pay these dues, like with AAPC, that requires their members to be a member. So you have to pay that $222 fee every single year. And in your 2-year reporting cycle, yeah, you're having to spend all of this money. Okay? So that's something that you have to consider when you are getting into this field, is that you got to control those expenses that you can control. Now, later on, if you want to add on additional credentials for things that are not related to what you are already certified in, that's okay, right? The example I've always given is that if you have the CPC and you want to get the CIC, the Certified Inpatient Coder, that's fantastic, because these are two different things and they're not related to each other. The only thing is that it's okay, you got diagnosis on there, but it's different procedures, okay? One is for CPT and the other one is for ICD-10 PCS. So again, something else to consider, but that should be after you've spent 2 years in the field with one certification, again, to simplify your life. And for my AHIMA folks, my folks that have the CCS, the CCA, or the CCSP, it's 20 CEUs. And AHIMA, I don't know what the deal is still with the 40% requirement, but if you get the membership is either $209 if you're doing the Premier membership, or if you're doing the standard professional membership is $149 and a year. But again, there's benefits to this. You do get CEUs with these memberships. Of course, you have to go through and do the course or whatever, and to be able to get the CEUs. But with doing these, you get into you get however many is per your membership, because the memberships have different amounts of CEUs that they give you. But again, can be all put towards your 2-year CEU requirement. If you have one medical coding certification, either the CCS, CCA, or CCSP, your CEU requirement is 20. Now, if you have a degree designation, the RHIA or the RHIT, it's going to go up. So that's just something to keep in mind, okay? But with that said, there's a lot that if you don't know, you can be taken advantage of, and you can be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to spend this money, that money, and I'm going to get this and get that, and it's not necessary, okay? So you can, again, that's an accepted thing, is that you have to pay a membership. Now with AHIMA, they don't require it, but if you choose to go membershipless, right, they will charge you a separate fee for reporting your continuing education units. Okay, just gotta put that out there. It's not as much as a membership fee, but that's just something that you have to know, that there's still you still have to pay to maintain your credentials. This is a field that you're getting into. And I had somebody comment the other day that said, so even though we passed the test, we still have to keep taking these courses. We still have to keep paying money. You're in an intellectual field. That's what it's going to require. Any intellectual field that you get into, attorneys, doctors, nurses, any of those technical positions like that, they are going to require continuing education. Okay. And so that is going to be, there's going to be money involved in that and getting that continuing education, but it's only so that you can maintain your skills, so that you can maintain your knowledge of the industry. Okay. And that's what's important. So again, minimizing your expenses and not making it so difficult for yourself in the first 2 years is what your goal should be. And of course, building your knowledge. The other thing that you have to know is this. There's a lot of like niche things out there, right? Medical terminology for medical coders is one that I can think of off the top of my head. Now, some people think that, oh, I have to get this book because it says it's for medical coders. Well, no, that's not true, because we all use the same medical terminology. We use the same medical terminology as doctors. We use the same medical terminology as nurses. We use the same medical terminology, every single one of us. We're all looking at the same human body. Okay, nobody is looking at, oh, this is the human body for medical coders and this is the human body for doctors. No, we're all looking at the same thing. So it's unnecessary to spend money on a specific book like that. If you want to, it's totally up to you. But again, that is a niche marketing thing, okay? That they are trying to okay, we're going to do this for medical coders. I mean, again, it's unnecessary when there's so many great books out there for learning medical terminology and anatomy that would be just as well serving to you, okay? So again, that's another expense that you can cut. And going through all of these courses and things like that, oh, I'm going to buy this course, buy that course. Can you learn it from a book? Can you learn anatomy from a book, medical terminology? Absolutely. And there's tons of really good channels on YouTube, like Crash Course. Crash Course is not an ad for that channel, but on YouTube, they have the most fantastic animations, and it is really an awesome channel because it covers not just anatomy and medical terminology, but they cover pathophysiology and biology. And if you want to know about the American Constitution, it's in there as well. So, I mean, they have lots of different subjects, and it is really good. Okay, the whole channel is really good. But again, there's that channel. There's tons of other channels. You can look online for the Merck manual online, and that gives you access to tons of anatomy quizzes as well. And some of them have little video clips and things like that. Again, just a free resource that you don't have to spend money on, okay? We can absolutely learn from a book how to do medical coding. We can absolutely be in control of how much money that we are spending in order to maintain these. And if you say, well, I want to take this course to prep me for the CCS, or I want to do this one for the CPC, I want to do a prep course for it. Why? Why? Ask yourself why. Because you think that you need to? Well, if you're studying 20 hours per week and you're practicing like you're supposed to, and you're following my advice, and you're putting in that time, you won't need to spend money to do that. You can if you want to, but is it necessary? Absolutely not, especially when you have the ability to learn this on your own. And I'm not saying that it's not necessary sometimes to get a tutor, or it's not necessary to get these courses if you're really stuck. But usually when it's like the CCS exam prep or the CPC exam prep, it's because those are people that already know. So they to make themselves feel better, they want to go through somebody to review it with them. That's what they want to feel better because of that. But if you're using that prep course as a way of, like, my teacher didn't teach me and I was taught too fast, I went through a fast-paced medical coding program like Bleu tells me not to do. I went through a fast-paced medical coding program and I didn't learn, so now I want to learn from this really fast prep course. for the exam. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're asking for failure then. You're begging for it. Matter of fact, you are begging for it because you should not be doing that. If you learn too fast, you need to slow down. A lady asked me, oh, well, do you think I have 20 years background in medical? Do you think I can learn this and take my exam by June of this year? No, ma'am. No, I don't think so. Because if you think that you have all of these years of experience and you're just going to rush through and take the exam, you have no idea what you're about to get into. And even though you may have been a nurse, you may have felt like you did all of this coding, I guarantee you didn't. Because a lot of times what nurses do is they circle from a super bill and they call that coding. That is not coding. Coding involves looking at documentation. Coding involves abstracting or correcting the codes that have already been selected by the provider through the computer-assisted coding, okay? So there's that. And that's the thing that you have to understand. There's rules to this that cannot be learned in like that. You will not learn it overnight. And I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence, because there will be somebody who will get their feelings hurt and tell me how mean I am. I am not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to keep you from making an expensive mistake. Okay? That's just me. I don't want you to make an expensive mistake thinking that you can just rush through and then you have to pay for the exam fees. Let's just say we're going to ballpark at $400, right? Well, it's different depending on the association and depending on your membership and that kind of thing. But let's just ballpark at $400 and you fail. That's $400 that you just threw away because you failed, because you thought that you could just breeze right on through. Okay, so you take a second run at it. That's $800 now. You want to keep going? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It will go up and it will add up fast. And with the American Health Information Management Association, you get one attempt per payment that you make for this exam. Okay, you pay for an exam, you only get one time to take it. With AAPC, you pay for the 2 attempts. So that's the thing. And again, some people, they feel better getting that 2 attempts when really they should consider how much time have they been spending in. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're a nervous test taker. That is an excuse. See, there's a lot of excuses out there. Oh, well, I'm a nervous test taker. That's why I need to have the 2 attempts. No, you're trying to rush through and you think that it's easy. And then when you find out that it's not so easy, then you're like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, now it's not so come on. You know, I'm just saying, you have to take this seriously. Take the time to learn. Watch the channels on YouTube. Go to the public library. Save yourself that money buying all these books when you can go to the public library and go check out books on anatomy and physiology, pathophysiology, pharma, medical terminology. They have workbooks at the public library as well. And they may even have coding workbooks there as well. Sometimes they may have older books there as far as like the workbooks at the library, but that's okay. If you know that and you're working through it, and let's just say it's a more recent book, it's ICD-10, you know, those codes are in there. Then you say, okay, well, that code isn't in my book, but I don't see the code, the answer that they're giving. I don't see it in my book either. So then we know that the code was updated. So that's the thing that you have to think about. Okay, well, the code was updated, and so I need to find the answer for it. And that's the only thing that you may run into, but you're getting practice in. And like I said, you can go to justcoding.com. This is not an ad for them, but they have 5 question coding quizzes that are free. They cover ICD-10-CM, ICD-10-PCS, and CPT. And for those of you that are ungrateful and will tell me, oh, those are so easy, because I've had several people to tell me that, oh, they're so easy, and I want something harder. Okay, did you look at the multiple choice? Okay, so you know you can just cover that up with a paper, right? Just cover it up, and then you look at the question, and then you answer the question, and then you look at the multiple choice answers to see if you're on the right track. Did you do that? No. You want to sit here and tell me how easy it is. Okay, well then don't listen to my advice then. I'm trying to help you. And let's not forget the impact that these books have on your ability to learn. And again, you already have them. That you either got them with your package from the school or you bought them on your own. Hopefully you got the your ICD-10 CM book. If you needed an ICD-10 PCS book, both of these came from the Optum website, optumcoding.com. Again, not an ad, but with that ICD-10 CM book, Expert for Physicians, that's the one that I recommended, the spiral bound. And at the beginning of every single chapter in the tabular section, they have the guidelines for that specific chapter, and then they have the this little scenario. Then they got the answers, and then they have the rationale. You know, I've mentioned before, you can cover up the rationale and the answers, and you can look up all of those codes. And meanwhile, you're looking up all of these codes, then that means that you've worked through every single one of those chapters according to the examples that are from that specific chapter. What better way to get practice in learning? And it's like having a workbook, even though you're not writing in your book, hopefully you're not, but it's like having a workbook all in one. And it's going to get you more comfortable with the book. Those are the people that end up doing well on the test, is the ones that feel comfortable with the book. But if you're trying to sit there and rush through and trying to, that you want to do these shortcuts or you want to pay for all of these prep programs, instead of just slowing down, taking a look at, okay, I know that I don't understand this particular topic. Let me find a tutor. Let me find a mentor. A mentor will help you for free. All right. Mentors will help you for free. A tutor, you will have to pay out some bucks. And like I said, it depends on what your needs are. Like I said, sometimes you may just need one session with the tutor. It really all depends on you. But the thing that I will say is this. You want to pick a tutor that has experience. Don't pick somebody who's only been in the industry for a year or 2 years. I've seen people try to do that. What do you know about coding within 1 to 2 years? No, I don't think so. And then the other thing is this: when you find a tutor that meets your needs and everything like that, if you need to make a list of all your specific questions, because it is not on that tutor to design a whole program for you, because that would be like going to a school. The tutor's purpose is to answer your questions so that you can better understand what it is that you're doing. Okay, that's the purpose of the tutor. The tutor is not there to help you pass a job assessment test, because you should never do that. A tutor would know not to do that, because that job assessment test is going to be a gauge of your skill, not the tutor's skill. Okay, I had somebody ask me that, and I said no, absolutely not. And so that's something that you have. I will not meet with you prior to your meeting with me just to discuss your needs. I am a tutor. I have 16 years of experience. I have 1,300 videos on YouTube where I'm giving you all of my advice. I don't need to answer questions that, this and that. No, because you're trying to get additional time. No. It doesn't work that way. When you book with me, we are spending that time together, and we're getting this sorted out. If it is for tutoring, then you're going to bring your list of questions so that I can sit here and explain it to you, or we can go through it together. Or if it's for professional coaching, you need to let me know what it is for. If it is for that you need a interview tips, then that's what we do together. And I'm going to let you know that when you do an interview, mock interview with me, I'm going to expect you to be dressed as if you were going to that interview. You need to treat it just like that. All right. That's what we do. If it is just about the career and we're just going to chat, well, then that's what we spend the time there for. You have a whole hour. Okay. But I will not meet with people beforehand just to get a feel for what it is that you want, because no, then you're wasting my time. And I have plenty of clients who wait for their appointment, and I'm not going to move my schedule around for somebody who hasn't even booked an appointment. I won't do it. Okay. I'm about business, and I expect you to be about business as well. That's just the way that it is. All right. So with that said, If you're interested, let me know. My rate and contact is in the description box below. So with all of that said, be very careful about how you're spending your money, where you're spending your money to, and know that you don't have to spend all this money on all these specialty things. Know that a lot of this is picking up the book, and there's nothing that can get you more skilled and more qualified than you putting in your own time. Not the number of course preps that you're doing with these exams. Not that. Not spending money on medical terminology for medical coders. Not that. It is actually sitting down and looking at the book, working through the workbook, and all the workbooks and everything I recommend are in the description box below. Okay, the membership dues are a fact of life. Okay, and you can, if it's a burden to you as far as like saving the money and everything, AAPC, they say you can call them if you need an extension or something like that. But the thing about it is, guys, that's why we need to learn to save. That's why we need to learn to save. Now, you can create a savings tracker yourself, as far as like putting money aside every month if you want to, so that way you can save up for your membership dues. I created a savings tracker, and they're in the description box below if you want to order one from me. The how much they cost and my contact is in the description box below if you want to order that. The one that I made one for the AAPC fees, the AHIMA, the 2 AHIMA memberships, either or, okay? And so if you're interested, just let me know, send me an email, and then let me know which one you want to order. So that way, you know, you can save that way. Or like I said, you can make your own. And again, a lot of this is you doing a lot of the heavy lifting by yourself, okay? And that's going to save you money. And then saving money towards your membership is not going to make that membership fees, like the once a year for the membership fees, oh my gosh, I got to spend $222. Oh my gosh, I got to spend $209. Oh my gosh, I got to spend $149. It's not going to be such a burden, right? It's going to be like, okay, I'm ready for this. Okay? And I know I said, okay, you don't have to spend all this money on these other things, but guys, this is just minor. And like I said, you can make your own, savings tracker too. Okay. But that's just what I will say on that. And with that said, be mindful, keep it simple, keep it simple. Invest in things that will help you. You don't need to be downloading all of these stupid apps. You need to be working with the book. And for those of you that love your electronic books, that's fine. But like I say, the people that are going to learn the best are the people that are going to learn from the book. The books, rather, I should say. The books. They are going to learn the best. Because nothing beats a book. Nothing beats a book. It doesn't matter the app. Doesn't matter any of that. And don't ask me about apps, because I know nothing about apps, because I choose not to know anything about apps. I would rather learn the good old-fashioned way through a book, because again, that's what's made me successful in my career, is learning from a book. I'm just saying. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Best of luck to you guys out there. You don't have to spend all that money. Don't do it. Just save your money and learn from the free resources that you can, okay? Only spend it if you need it. I'm just saying. With that said, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for joining me. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.